If you're a huge fan, then there's no reason you should ignore the Generation Z movies. Even if it's not your cup of tea, these new age of films are still worth watching, as it gives us not only lessons, but also the chills and thrills that will give you an idea of how these teenagers' minds work. Hello there! In today's video, we bring you the top 10 best Gen Z movies. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and share this video. Let's get started. Number 10. To All the Boys I've Loved Before, 2018. To All the Boys I've Loved Before is your typical high school love story with a modern twist. It follows Laura Jean Covey and her family as they adapt to life after her older sister Margaret leaves to attend a university in Scotland. Laura Jean has to deal with the consequences of her private love letters being sent to all of her crushes. Laura Jean, who's a fan of old school love letters, writes letters to boys she has loved as a means of moving on. Once she has put her feelings on paper, but she has no intention of ever sending the letters. The letters are kept in a teal hat box. That is, until it was sent out by her younger sister Kitty without her permission. Number 9. The Babysitter, 2017. In retrospect, the 1980s seems to be a magical age. The music, the hair, and the cheesy oh-so-good horror films. As a modern-day entertainment tribute to movies about streams of blood leaking from nubile young bodies, Netflix's The Babysitter definitely hits that spot for that particular yearning. The Babysitter has scenes of splashed magnificence when it comes to its bloodshed. Judah Lewis plays Cole, a 12-year-old schoolboy who is constantly bullied, has overly dotting and smiley parents, lacks interpersonal skills, and is the only kid in a small social circle who still has a babysitter. His babysitter, B, played by Samara Weaving, is drop-dead gorgeous and is a super nerd who understands intergalactic wars, sets up outside movie theaters, and talks in movie quotes. When Cole's best friend advises him to investigate what happens after he falls asleep, he finds out about B's ultimate secret. He had no idea that B was a member of a militant satanic cult that stabs people in the head with knives. Are you a fan of these kind of movies? Go check this one out. It definitely won't disappoint. Number 8. Teen Spirit, 2018. This story revolves around Violet, a timid teenager living in a small town on the Isle of Wight, whose dreams of pop limelight as an escape from her bleak environment and broken family relationships in this heartwarming tale. The coach and student join a nationally popular singing competition with the aid of a former opera singer named Vlad. Coach Vlad quickly discovers that she must also serve as a manager, tutor, and guardian. They travel to London for the live TV broadcast after making it through the first few rounds, at which point the country will determine her fate. Violet's honesty, creativity, and determination are all put to the test in this film. Number 7. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, 2015. This 2015 American comedy drama film, directed by Alfonso Gomez-Rejon and written by Jesse Andrews, is based on Andrews' debut novel, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, which he published in 2012. It received a standing ovation as it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2015. This story is about Greg Gaines, a 17-year-old high school senior played by Thomas Mann, who is quiet and shy. Though he usually avoids publicity in relationships in general, he learns that his former childhood friend and classmate, Rachel Kushner, played by Olivia Cook, has been diagnosed with leukemia. During her moment of need, his parents advised him to rebuild their friendship, and they quickly became inseparable friends. Number 6. Booksmart, 2019. Now this is the kind of film that you could watch again and again and still enjoy. Beanie Fieldstein plays Molly, a regular bookworm consumed with being at the top of her class. Amy, her best friend, is played by Caitlin Dever, is a timid feminist who is working extremely hard to get into good colleges. As a result, Molly's view of the world is thrown into disarray when she learns that her less studious peers have also been accepted into the same elite colleges. So the girls decide to unwind and let off steam by getting dressed and having one last big party before graduating and moving on to the next page in their lives. The film is rated R for strong sexual content and language throughout, as well as drug and alcohol use, and it all revolves around teenagers, which can be very contentious. Number 5. The Edge of 17, 2016. If you grew up in the 80s, chances are John Hughes movies were a big part of your childhood. You may not remember what you had for breakfast the other day, yet you could still memorize The Breakfast Club word for word 3 decades later. With its combination of biting satire and bittersweet heartfelt moments, The Edge of 17 is a worthy successor to Hughes' legacy. Kelly Freeman, Craig's feature filmmaker debut, touches many of the relatable highlights and frustration moments that have become trademarks of the teen dramedy, drama, and comedy genre. The narcissistic feeling that something is going on in your life is extremely important. The discomfort of trying to forge an identity inside the highly pressurized environment of high school. However, it's darker and more true to life than Hughes's previous films, and it modernizes his portrayals in ways that are crucial for today's viewers. This comedy/drama features great acting and tells a touching, mature coming-of-age tale. According to Common Sense Media, it earned a 4-star rating out of 5. Number 4. Spider-Man: Homecoming, 2017. Now for this title you're probably well aware of. Spider-Man: Homecoming is a massive box office hit, and after Captain America: Civil War, this is Tom Holland's second film as Spider-Man in this incarnation. Both his superhero and his alter ego, a high school student, became hugely popular to the Gen Zs who love both superhero movies and a touch of high school theme. The story is about young Peter Parker who returns home to live with his Aunt May after his adventure with the Avengers. Parker begins to accept his newfound identity as Spider-Man under the direct supervision of mentor Tony Stark. He also attempts to get back to his usual life, but is distracted by thoughts of showing that he's more than just a friendly neighborhood superhero. When the evil Vulture appears to attack all that Peter holds dear, Peter will have to pull his new abilities to the test. Number 3. Love, Simon, 2018. This 2018 American romantic comedy drama film directed by Greg Berlanti and written by Isaac Aptaker and Elizabeth Berger is based on Becky Albertalli's novel, Simon vs. the Homo sapiens Agenda. The cast includes Nick Robinson, Josh Duhamel, and Jennifer Garner. The story revolves around Simon Seiper, a closeted gay high school boy who seems to easily balance all challenges when dealing with his peers, family, and the antagonist blackmailer who threatens to ruin his reputation in front of the entire school. There's some really entertaining scenes, like when he tries to find out who knows his secrets and who is the anonymous student with whom he has fallen in love with online. In spite of the oddly misinterpreted events, Simon manages to avoid most of the pitfalls of the gay coming-of-age tale, and as a result, this film proves to be a moving and sincere story in the end. Number 2. The Hate U Give, 2018. The Hate U Give follows young star Carter as she switches between two worlds, her poor, mostly black neighborhood and the affluent, mostly white prep school where she attends. When she sees the tragic shooting of her childhood best friend, this delicate equilibrium of the two worlds is thrown off. There would have been no movie or outrage from the neighborhood if the perpetrator had one of the hood boys, which is usually the case. The area, however, feels oppressed because the gunman was a police officer of the wrong race. Star must find her courage and the bravery to be a voice in the face of criticism on both sides of the world. The Hate U Give features a strong and incredibly moving performance from Amanda Steinberg, who never holds anything back from the audience and never overplays a moment. She's a star in the making, says top critic Wen-Lee Ma of News.com. Number 1. 5 Feet Apart, 2019. Take a deep breath and relax. Take a deep breath in and out. All those who have the privilege of taking breaths for granted get to decide what to think of when inhaling air, to focus our minds, to relax, to sing, or to blow up a balloon. However, every breath is a challenge, a victory, and a painful reminder that it could be the last for those people with lung diseases, like cystic fibrosis. Haley Lou Richardson plays Stella, a 17-year-old teenager with cystic fibrosis that spends the majority of her time in the hospital. Her life is filled with routines, rules, and self-control, which are all brought to a challenge when she encounters Will, played by Cole Sprouse, a charismatic teen who suffers from the same disease. There's an immediate attraction, yet they must keep a healthy distance between them to the constraints. As their attraction towards each other grows stronger, the urge to break the rules intensifies. The movie left the audience with a bucket of tears, seeing how the ending turned out to be not made for them. The movie is rated PG-13, and not only teenagers cry, but also young adults and even parents. Truly a must-watch Gen Z movie. Have you seen any of these movies yet? Go check it out. And if you happen to know an amazing Gen Z movie that should be included in the list, sound off in the comments section below. We look forward to hearing from you. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up to show your support, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for future updates.